pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Christina, you call the roll.
Clark. Here. David. Here. Fish. Here. Jorgensen.
Here.
Call.
Here.
Parsons.
Present.
Mayor Lumberg.
Here. If I can have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion and a second to approve the agenda as submitted. Anything from the council? Any changes? Administration? Nothing? With that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have 3 sets of minutes to approve. I can have a motion for those.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented of January 16th, 20th, and 23rd. Any questions or discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to approve the bills and claims submitted with the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the bills and claims submitted with the agenda. Any questions from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now would be the time for community input. If anybody wishes to address the council, now would be the time to do that. Hearing none, we'll go into our standing committee reports. First one is the golf course. We have a quote to repair the dance floor from Commercial Interior Decor for $11,794. If I could have a motion to approve that quote.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the quote from Commercial Interior Decor for $11,794. Any questions from the council?
Yeah, just a quick discussion point. I know we've got the item coming up on number 4 for the consulting update, but I'm just wondering if we're maybe wanting to postpone a couple of these things until we have our consultant involved, just in the off chance that they go a real different direction.
I guess I would submit that there's not much direction we can go with that floor out there.
No, it's in really bad shape. So
It seems to me to be a very needed repair.
I would agree. It's the original floor from when the building was built, so we need to do something with it.
But any other council member want to delay or? Hearing no other opposition, I would ask all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a wage adjustment for Kelly Eilers. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Correct.
To $29 an hour, his annual wage adjustment. If I can have a motion to approve that.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second to approve Kelly Eilers' wage adjustment to $29 an hour. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a golf course master plan proposal from Confluence architectural firm, engineering firm, whatever they refer to themselves as, in the amount of $10,000. I could have a motion to approve that contract.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the contract with Confluence in the amount of $10,000. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number A9A4, consulting update. Ryan.
As you know, we've been talking with Landscapes Unlimited for a consulting contract to help us identify some areas of improvement out at the golf course this year. They have a non-compete clause with, since they manage the City of Sioux Falls golf courses. They need to get that released by the City of Sioux Falls. They are planning on doing that, I believe, tomorrow. The City Council should take action to okay them to consult with us. That's all we're doing right now is consulting with Landscapes Limited.
They are not taking over management of our golf course as was erroneously reported, correct?
They are not.
Thank you.
Appears that same news hit the Argus Leader this morning. I read on the Argus Leader that same that you just documented, that they wrote a story on that.
Okay.
The story seemed to be more indicative of actually what's going on, that it is in fact just a consulting arrangement, that we're looking for some potential additional help
Yep.
in running our golf course for this 1 year before we decide what we're gonna do. Anything else on that? Andrew, Brian,
Nope.
Chuck?
Nope.
Very good, thank you. Parks and Rec, we have the first reading of ordinance number 600, the municipal tree regulations. Brian or Devin, want to address that? It's with our ash borer issue, I assume, or I know.
Yep, so basically what this does is cleans up a little bit of the language. It kind of changes everything from elm, where it was written, to more generic disease pests, things like that. So it will also incorporate the ash problem. It'll be eliminating the storage of wood known to harbor diseases, pests, things like that. So elm, ash, those are the main two that we're trying to keep people from stockpiling. We added a treatments section just to kind of lay out some rules, how we want people to do the treatments, keep track of them, register them with the city, things like that. And then we're also updating our boulevard tree list and our boulevard tree permit. And we tweaked a couple distances from stop signs, lights, curb, things like that.
Any questions for Devin from the council? Seemed to be fairly comprehensive to me. Cover what you needed to be covered. Guess we need a motion to accept the first reading of ordinance number 600. Motion second to accept the first reading of ordinance number 600. Any further questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. First reading of ordinance number 601 also deals with shrubs on the boulevard, if memory.
Tree, shrubs, and bushes, it adds them as a listed specific public nuisance in the
Okay.
ordinance.
Any questions, comments from the council? Administration? Pretty cut and dried?
Yep.
If not, I would entertain a motion to accept the first reading of that ordinance.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further questions? Any questions at all, I should say? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. B4, we have a contract with TSP for the pool improvement project in the amount of $146,770. I got a motion to accept that contract. Motion is second to accept the contract with TSP for pool improvement, for the pool improvement project in the amount of $146,770. Any questions from the council?
Tammy, can you just kind of run through that, what that's going to cover, please?
Sure. So this will include the schematic design. That's going to be the first phase, and they will present that to Park Board. They will probably come up with 3 different options with city staff input, and then Park Board can make a recommendation to council on what one to go move forward with. And then this includes the design and then the construction documents, so bidding and everything. And then it also includes construction admin.
Approximately 10% of projected construction cost. Which in this day and age, for the engineers sitting in our audience, it's a pretty fair price for the engineers. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We have received an email from the Baseball Association. They are in the process of looking at the state amateur baseball tournament in, what year, 2020? This next summer? Is that correct? And they have a request for beer sales at that tournament. and they wanted to put it on our agenda for discussion. Brian?
Yeah, it'd be pretty easy to do. It'd be a temporary malt beverage license for the weekend or days of the tournament that the Baseball Association would be able to apply for.
I think right now that what they're looking for is just if there were major opposition on the part of the council to voice it now, so they would not pursue the gathering or obtaining of this state amateur baseball tournament.
Correct.
Bid for that, correct. So with that, I would ask if there's any major disagreement from anyone on the council with that.
We had discussed this is an adult activity, not a children's activity, so in my mind, that makes a bit of a difference.
And I support it as long as they get the required insurance to cover their event and liquor liability.
Very good. I would assume that then further down the road, they would have a formal application that we
Correct.
would run through the council for approval. So I think just let the record show no formal opposition from the council at this point. Very good. Administration, ISG City Hall Concept Plan. Brian?
ISG is just looking at a recommendation from the council as to which concept plan you would like to proceed with so that they can finalize their report. There's 4 options shown here. At this point in time, this isn't final design or anything, it's just what concept do you want. Staff's reviewed all of the options, and our recommendation is option 4, kind of the circular flow with the council chambers being in the middle of the building.
Council in agreement with option 4?
Yes.
As we talked about, it's a big public item, and it'll draw some interest. I know it will. In fact, I spent about 45 minutes at the Wild Game Feed answering questions about it. Not bad or anything, just questions that people had about it and stuff. So it will draw some attention, I guess I'll say.
So ISG will then complete their report, give us a cost estimate, and then if and when we decide to move into final design, that's when we can get down with the discussions of how many offices, how big of space, et cetera. This is just a concept.
Is this going to include Raleigh's maintenance facility too? Is that part of the,
Yeah, the final plan will, yes.
will include that? Okay.
Yeah, he just has one design,
Yeah.
so there's no decision
That one that goes north and south.
there. Yeah.
No suites or anything?
As I said at a previous meeting, this is easy for Raleigh's part of this whole thing. That's the easy part. Very good. Proceed there with you informing option 4 would be what we'd like to proceed with and have them do their thing.
Okay.
Empower Brandon update. Mr. Parsons.
That'd be me. We're a year into this, I call it a strategic planning process. A few of the people up here have been involved in it, Barb, Dave, Tim, myself. We held a community gathering last April. Out of that came some, what I would call interest groups of particular topics that people were interested in, such as the town square. There's a communication group, things like that. So what's being done right now is we have a new person that we're working with from Dakota Resources, Christy Wagner. She's meeting with all of those groups just to keep the momentum going within them. I think she's meeting with one tonight, if that's correct. And then also Dakota Resources has extended our contract. It was due to expire, I think in April. They've extended it to the end of this year to give Christy some more time to work with us. So that's kind of where that's at. Questions anybody has?
Questions from council? Very good, thanks Chuck. Ordinance number 602, the Souls Edition. Brian, can you briefly update us on this?
Yeah, if you remember, last meeting we had a public hearing on the rezone or the creating of a planned unit development for the brick apartments at the on Pipestone, where you come in. Talking with Patrick at CCOG, he drafted this ordinance which would allow those units to be platted off individually as shown. And then if you look on page 68, Lot A is not included in the PD. It would just be Lot B. Lot B, the remainder of Lot B would be owned as a HOA. And then each member or each person that would purchase one of those lots would be a member of that HOA. They would be responsible for snow removal, repairs, mowing the grass, etc. in that area.
Administration's good with the current plan?
We're good with it.
Council?
Patrick scratched his head a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Patrick scratched his head a little bit when I told him what we wanted to do.
Well, P and Z passed it on too.
Yeah.
They did too. Very good. With that, then, I'd entertain a motion recognizing first reading of ordinance number 602.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to acknowledge first reading of ordinance number 602. Any further questions, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. A meeting or two ago, we approved a new position entitled lead maintenance position. We have interviewed that, and administration has a recommendation for employment of that for Larry Bixby at $26.41 an hour. If I can have a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve Larry Bixby for the newly created lead maintenance position at $26.41 an hour. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We have 3 vehicles to surplus, four vehicles to surplus, a 93 Dodge Ram, 2 2008 Ford F-150s, and a 2006 Ford F-350. And a motion to approve the surplusing of those 4 vehicles.
So moved.
Motion and a second to approve the surplusing of the 4 vehicles as listed. Questions?
I know you're all shocked with the $500 or less value on the Dodge.
We didn't want that to be the engineer's car.
I'm okay with that.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That's the one that doesn't have a floor in it?
Yeah, well, we put a sign in there.
We don't fall through.
Yeah.
We have received the 2020 chemical bids. The loan bid was Hawkins Chemical in the amount of $50,181.92. If I can have a motion to approve that.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the loan bid from Hawkins Chemical for a yearly chemical purchase in the amount of $50,181.92. Any questions from the council? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Our city engineer, Tammy Jansma, handed out a update on projects. I just had a chance to glance at it. It looked like a thorough update on where we're at. Thank you for that. I truly do appreciate it. I think the council truly does appreciate that too. It allows us to be able to speak intelligently when we're at wild game feeds and that type of thing. Any questions on that report from council? Any other additional new business from council, administration?
Nope, just a reminder of the District 3 meeting on March 19th in Vermillion. If anybody's interested, let Karen know.
Contact Karen.
Anything else that-
P&Z's that night. And then just another reminder, Board of Equalization is set for March 17th and 18th if necessary. So that'll be a busy week.
On the chamber banquets this week, the fundraiser auction in Moran Friday.
Friday night. Remind me, does the entire council sit at the equalization meetings?
Yes. Don't try to get out of it.
Terrific.
We need a
Entire
quorum.
council and one person from the school board.
Yep.
Entire council and mayor?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
The mayor
All 7 of
runs
us?
Yes, the mayor's in charge.
I don't know what time they're at.
Usually
it.
6.
Being no further business, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn at 6:20 PM.
Second.
Motion is second to adjourn at 6:20 PM. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you all. Those equals. I hate those